Hey guys, Budcat7 here. Okay, it is Thursday, November 28th, 2019, and I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research Channel here on YouTube. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Alright, guys, well, I just watched Chuck's latest video, and as soon as I saw the title of it, I was like, holy shit. This is not good, okay? Red flags all the way on this one. And I was like, what the F are they talking about here? So anyway, I watched the video Chuck presented. It's based on this article that he read. And, just to give credit to Chuck, I'm not criticizing him in any way or whatever. I'm more or less criticizing, what we can glean from this supposed research or whatever it is. So, he just presents this and, we make of it whatever we make of it. And you know me, I'm the kind of guy who's going to look a little bit further into this because, it just totally goes into the subject matter that I'm covering, especially right now. So I want to look further into it. So I went to the links, and I think this is the article that he's actually taking it from here on this website called Ancient Pages. Okay, so they got a lot of myths and legends. So I guess, alternative site, maybe, I don't know, but it just stinks. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is a 100% bona fide Psy-Op going on here. And this page, especially here, just takes you all over the effing place. So, let me read to you. And I'm going to point out, like I do, if you're a long-time subscriber to my channel, this is my specialty. Okay, I take mainstream info, mainstream articles, if they're even a, alternative website reporting on mainstream articles like this one here and Atlas Obscura and Ancient Orange. I don't give a shit who it is, okay? If you're taking it from mainstream resources like university studies and government studies, I'm going to take a critical look at that. You understand that, right? So, if you've been on my channel for a while, I specialize in this. So, discovery of unusual ancient skeleton offers evidence giants inhabited California, which is a big state for large hominids or quote-unquote giants, okay? And you understand why this might be an issue, especially to those third-party people that I always talk about that always take everything as fact, when in fact it's nothing but hypothesis or theory in itself. Okay, but they'll take it as fact. Okay, you got to watch out for these third-party people because they don't really understand what a theory is. You see, it's open to discussion. Always. And that's how things get solved. See? People brainstorm on things when they say, oh, no such thing ever existed, like Troy, for example. Okay? Until it was found, you see? And then all the idiots that were saying, it's a myth, you'll never find it, blah, 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 they had to eat their hats. See, that's what happens. You got to eat your hat. And you look like an idiot and you look like you don't know what you're talking about once things like that happen. Okay, so ancientpages.com. The existence of giants in the distant past is an intriguing and controversial subject. Myths and legends from all corners of the world are filled with stories of giant men who once ruled the earth. These beings were powerful, mighty, and often feared by the locals. Unfortunately, the subject of giants has been much neglected by historians who far too often dismiss the stories of the ancients as pure fables. However, we have seen on several occasions that many myths and legends have been confirmed by modern science, which is what I was just talking about. We should keep investigating the subject of giants as they provide a key to unlock some unlock some history's most baffling mysteries, and they can help us to better understand our distant past, which I agree with all of that stuff. But, I'm not saying these people are perpetuating a psyop on this site. What I'm saying is that the originators of this are perpetuating the psyop, and then what happens is people pick it up and they make up all kinds of things about it, and of course they're speculating on it too, or whatever it is. But when you look at the facts of the matter, what it's really all about, okay, the actual data, that's where you can parse where the psyop begins and where the actual facts end. So, I don't disagree with anything they just said in this article here. Of course, that's what my personal opinion about it is as well. But let's keep reading about it. In the International Journal of Paleopathology, a group of scientists described the discovery of an unusual adult skeleton that was excavated from the Blossom Mound, a late Holocene 4350 to 2980 BP site located in the northern San Joaquin Valley of California. And that's where it is. Okay, so it's a mound in the San Joaquin Valley. Okay, so immediately, from what we just read, folks, okay, what are you expecting here? You're expecting giants, right? Or large hominids and all that kind of stuff, right? Because you're hearing about a mound burial, right? And we just read about all the giants and how we should continue looking into it, etc., right? So, I want your expectations to line up with the facts. Okay, so let's keep reading. Acromegaly is a rare disorder that has not been well documented in prehistoric remains, especially from North America. It is a rare disorder of the endocrine system that's similar to gigantism. Okay, so it's similar to it, but it isn't it. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a case of acromegaly, at least by their estimation. Okay. Could it possibly be something else? Yes, it could. See, because their take on it that it's probable acromegaly. Probable. Okay? Like when you hire me to build something for you, I probably will do it. Right? You're okay with that, right? If you hire me to build a deck in your backyard or something like that, I'll probably do it. Whenever. Probable acromegaly. Probable. It is the earliest evidence of this condition in humans. The only documented case from prehistoric California, where there happens to be a lot of large hominid accounts, giant accounts, and one of the more complete skeletons documented with this condition, says Dr. Eric Bartlink. Okay? This guy sounds like Barta Fink. More like Barta Fink to me. A physical anthropologist at California State University, Chico. Western Digs published a very interesting article about this intriguing discovery. So these people are covering an article. So we're covering articles of other articles in this. According to the Western Digs, the deceased man was believed to have been in his mid-30s at the time of his death. Was found in a burial mound with 176 other bodies near the Central Valley town of Elk Grove. Okay, so without knowing the specifics of the burial, we don't know if these people were killed or whatever. Okay, that's more like for the forensic paleontologists. But that's how you distinguish the different types of burials and different kinds of mounds, etc., etc. So I guess this is around the locale there. Some very interesting electrical supersonic blast terraforming there from Thunderbolt's project and Electric Universe. Mount Diablo background, where Juan Crespi first gazed upon the Sacramento San Joaquin Delta in 1772, with Seasun Bay in the foreground. Was the area once inhabited by giants? Question mark. Image credit U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Digital Visual Library. Okay, so just to be clear about this, we're not talking about. Here, I got a problem with this right away. I don't even know why giants are even mentioned in this. Okay, should be no mention of giants in this whatsoever. Okay, we're talking about somebody with the condition of acromegaly. Has nothing to do with giants, and it only is related to gigantism by medical standards. You understand that, right? Okay, so there should be no mention of giants in this whatsoever. Okay, and we're going to see exactly why that should be. Okay, so there should be no mention of giants in the title of this. There should be no mentions of giants at all. There is no relationship to giants whatsoever from this data. You understand? Okay? No relationship whatsoever. The man was part of a hunter-gatherer culture known as the windmiller. Okay, so here we have another problem with it, okay, from Budcat7's research. Okay, not only mine, people like Charles C. Mann in his book 1491, okay, we have agriculture going back thousands of years, okay, and by their very own words, mainstream words, okay, corn was created some 8,000 to 9,000 years ago in the highlands of Mexico, in the valleys, in the highlands of Mexico. Okay, somebody was doing that. Okay, is that agriculture? Not far from here, in California, right? Mexico, northern Mexico. All right. So you're telling me these cultures in the past had nothing to do, there's no evidence of it, okay? But again, folks, and I've mentioned this before on my channel, okay, it's a very common logic aphorism, okay? Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. If you don't know what that means, I'm sorry about it. I can't help you much. You have to be able to understand what that means, okay? Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, okay? Just because you don't find evidence of something doesn't mean it was absent, okay? Just was done somewhere else or whatever it is, somewhere that they don't even know about, they haven't even discovered. They'll be the first ones to admit that they don't know enough about these cultures of the past, okay? They'll be the first ones to admit, all right? Man was part of a hunter-gatherer culture known as the windmiller. Okay, hunter-gatherer. NG, goodbye. Sorry, your credentials are gone, so goodbye. These people, quote, buried their dead laying flat and face down rather than in a flex position with the heads pointing west. Okay, so unquote, I guess. Okay, so very interesting way they buried. The deceased were also often sent off in a fine complement of grave goods. The cause of death is unknown. Very interesting. Acromegalics have a lower life expectancy and more respiratory and cardiac issues than unaffected people. Okay, so here's where that third party could take this and run with it and everything else about the acromegaly. And so, you know, this is my fear of it. Just like they have fears, and this is why they want to craft our history in a certain way, because they're afraid of what we'll make of it when we have the actual data. Okay? And these third-party people run with that, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is fact," when it's only theory or hypothetical. So, look, you know, this is what people will say is that, oh, these people just, you know, whatever you're talking about as far as large skeletal remains, whatever, these are people just suffering from gigantism or acromegaly whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So this is why this is dangerous. That's why the warning came on. The red flag went up for me. Okay, so you see this. Unlike true gigantism, in which the pituitary gland starts to release excessive amounts of growth hormone in childhood, acromegaly doesn't begin until early adulthood, after all the body's long bones have finished growing. Typically, a tumor on the pituitary triggers the flood of hormones, stimulating exaggerated growth wherever bone development is still possible, typically in the face, hands, and feet. So while the very old 37 man wasn't exceptionally large for his time, about 170 centimeters or 5'5" 5'5" his remains bear several signs of hypergrowth in adulthood. Barda Fink said, okay, this guy's a punk. All right, so because your friend Budcat7 specializes, okay, in human height, okay, I would just look at this quick from Wikipedia, okay. In the 150 years since the mid-19th century, the average human height in an industrialized country has increased by up to 10 centimeters, 3.9 inches. However, these increases appear to have largely leveled off, and they don't know why. And it shouldn't happen according to their own theories. Before the mid-19th century, there were cycles in height with periods of increase and decrease. However, examination of skeletons show no significant differences in height from the Stone Age through the early 1800s. Okay, so how high were these guys of people of average height in those times? So let's take a look. Okay. According to a study by economists John Comos and Francisco Cinderella in the first half of the 18th century, the average height of an English male was 165 centimeters, 5'5", and the average height of an Irish male was 168 centimeters, 5'6". The estimated mean height of English, German, and Scottish soldiers was 163.6 centimeters, 165.9 centimeters, 4.4 inches by 5.3 inches. For the period as a whole, while the Irish of 167.9 centimeters, 5'6.1 inches, the average height of male slaves and convicts in North America was 171 centimeters, 5'7 inches. Okay, this is a person of average height. There's no mention of giants could be in this article or anywhere in the title or anything. There's no giants involved in this. Okay, just a supposed skeleton with acromegaly, if that's what it is. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying, folks? This is a 100% bona fide Psy-Op, okay? And this is what, I'm not even saying that these people actually intentionally did this. It's just that they're interested in it. It creates all of this stuff. And they know that when they put this stuff out, okay? 5'5" is a person of average height of the time, okay? And another thing with this, you can't compare it to people of our time without qualifying it. See, this is how the comparison goes, okay? You have equal comparisons, okay? You compare people of large stature with people of average height in their own time period, okay? That is an actual scientific analysis of the period. Okay, you want to compare it to our time, you have to qualify it by saying it's increased. The average mean height has increased. Okay, from the early 1800s till now. You have to qualify it. Can't just say, oh, and make the comparison directly. It's not a direct comparison. You have to qualify it. You understand? That's why it's not a genuine comparison without qualifying it. Okay, a genuine scientific comparison without qualifying. You can't do things that way. Okay? Comparing the skull with 14 other male skulls from the same mound, Bartley found it to be both taller and wider than average. Just the skull. Analysis by X-ray revealed several areas of excessive bone formation in the face, including a heavy, prominent brow, bony processes around the sides of the eyes, elongated chin, and a pronounced nose, creating what Bartley describes as a beak-like appearance. Okay, so he's describing something of some weird skull type, and he's saying it's due to this acromegaly, okay? Now, I just did my recent video, okay, about the giants, that they were vegetarians and not cannibals. So here is a skull, okay, with the jaw sticking out, okay, the prominence in the front of the skull there to meet up with the jaw, okay. Does this guy have acromegaly, or was he born this way? Was this in his DNA to be created this way? Okay, I've been talking about the hybridization, okay, and it was Andrew Collins, who just wrote a book. I think he's been watching my channel for a long time. He just wrote a book saying the same thing in this book.